In the 1960s, Don Yenko emerged as one of the SCCA's top road racers. But Yenko became famous for what he did away from the racetrack. He took regular Chevy production cars and turned them into bona fide racing machines, selling them at his Pennsylvania car dealership. Not many were made, and relative few still survive, making Yenkos some of the most sought-after collector cars in the world. Today, 4 partners and their team are taking on a huge challenge. Build a replica 1969 Camaro that uses today's technology but remains faithful to the original. It's a gamble that could breathe new life into a legend.
Hello and welcome once again to Tulsa, Oklahoma. I'm Dave Dobson. You know, the 6th generation Camaro gets a ton of its styling cues from the original Camaro. And even though the 1960s Camaro is an icon in the United States, 1960s technology is no match for what's under the hood of one of these 2018s.
But this is a brand new muscle car, and it only looks like a 1969 Camaro. Almost 7 months ago, the team set out to create a car that looks just like an original Yenko Camaro, but drives just like a brand new car.
So guys, you know I love Camaros. I've had 5. 1969 Camaro is my favorite hot rod. Yenkos were the rare of the rare on Camaros, right? Thousands of Camaros.
I got one question.
Yeah?
Who is Yenko?
Yenko?
Yeah,
Yenko.
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 The Yenko started as a simple reproduction body shell. Brand new muscle car tailors every project to the customer's wants and needs. In this case, they added larger mini tubs to accommodate fatter tires, a modern rear end to handle the car's 600 horsepower, and of course, state-of-the-art brakes to make sure the car can stop. A new front end, and the car was ready for wheels and tires.
Another thing, done.
The car was then turned over to Martin and his son-in-law Tony, brand new muscle car's bodywork team.
So, it's ready for paint.
It's not that easy. The body shell is very good from the start, but it takes Martin and Tony's artistic touch, along with some Bondo and elbow grease, to sculpt it into greatness. Meanwhile, 1,200 miles away in Florida, a small team builds the power plant that will put the muscle in this muscle car. And in Tulsa, once the body guys are finished with the sheet metal, they turn the car over to the paint crew. Preparation is the most important part of a good paint job, and Dustin, Jared, and Brandon spend days making sure the car is ready.
Hey Dustin, I think you missed the spot.
Daytona Yellow was an original Yenko Camaro color in 1969, and it looks amazing on this brand new muscle car. Of course, there's still a long road ahead, and while the paint goes on, David heads out to pick up some parts for the next process.
Hey, thanks for the help on the phone.
No problem.
Walter Martin?
Yep.
Mechanics Richard and Omar are up next. Their first task, squeeze the Monster 427 big block into this car.
You guys ready?
Driving this car will be like riding in a time machine. Every single styling detail inside and out is identical to a 1969 Yenko Camaro. But mechanically, this car will be even better than the real thing, thanks to 50 years of technological advancements.
The best thing about this whole process was seeing the customer's face when she saw the car for the first time. I mean, it was just, that's the reward. That was priceless. It wasn't, I mean, it was real, it was sincere. She was ear to ear smile. She did a little dance. I mean, it was great.
Wow.
Another thing done, a Yenko. And the keys are in it, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Now that the car is finished, David does what any self-respecting car guy would do. It's time to show it off to the neighbors down the street.
Fuel injection, air conditioning, all the modern comforts. All right, man, what do you think?
Man,
Cool?
beautiful.
Awesome?
You did a
Thanks,
great
sir.
job.
All right, thanks, guys. Appreciate it. See you.
Coming up, the team pays homage to the Yenko Camaro's road racing heritage. Time for this brand new muscle car to stretch its legs.
Brand new muscle car Yenko Camaro, presented by Classic Industries, is brought to you by Chris Austin's Chassis Works, Willwood Disc Brakes, Performance Unlimited, R3 Performance Products, and by Classic Industries.
If you run down to your local Chevrolet dealership, you can pick up a brand new Camaro with one of 4 engine choices, including a ZL1 that makes 650 horsepower. But back in the late 1960s, if you wanted the ultimate Camaro brand new, the only way to get it was through Don Yenko in Canonsburg, Pennsylvania.
Yenko, with his connections again with General Motors, was able to get things that the average dealership couldn't get or didn't know how to get. He was an exceptional guy, really.
Brock Yates once described Don Yenko as a man who appeared to have been constructed from parts from 6 different parts bins, none of which fit together very well. And that was my impression of Don too. Every time I saw him in movement, he never seemed to be really comfortable with his physical height and whatever. He was kind of gangly, kind of angular in his movements and his walking, a little bit hunched over sometimes.
You know, personality-wise, hard to explain. If you had to compare him to somebody, it would be Austin Powers. It was like he was totally underwhelmed by anything going on. He was just a real character and a decent guy. I have all the respect for him as a driver that you can imagine. And when he was in the right equipment, he was real hard to beat.
Donna Mae Mims was a road racing pioneer and champion, and her marketing skills were a driving force behind the Yenko supercar brand.
You know, she is another story all in herself. Just a wonderful person, first of all, and a real good friend. She was one of the main reasons of the success of the whole Yenko program.
She was such a nice person, as famous as she was, as beautiful as she was. I was in awe of Donna Mae, and yet she treated me so nicely. She would come downstairs many times and find me, and she'd put her arm around my shoulder and say, "Mark, would you mind doing such and such for me?" And of course, I was never able to say no.
But a real special person and a true friend.
A woman helped forge the Yenko legend, so perhaps it's fitting that a woman has commissioned the first ever Yenko continuation car.
I always tell the customers that having a hand-built hot rod made for you or muscle car is not a car, it's an experience. It feels great to do it in a small scale, in a small shop. I mean, relatively speaking, we're a small shop. You know, you've got maybe 8 or 10 guys that touch the car, definitely less than a dozen. Done.
Just a few months ago, we didn't have a car. We had a plan, we knew what we were gonna do. We didn't have anything. We literally started with a brand new shell, and it's sitting out in the parking lot right now, and it's done.
And that's probably very similar to Yenko. You know, Yenko probably had 5, 6, 10 guys that worked on any one car coming and going, and we have the same thing. So it's really cool to think about that.
Don Yenko made his name in road racing, and now, for the first time in 50 years, a brand new Yenko Camaro hits the track.
It's Hallett Racing Circuit. It's about 30 minutes outside of town. It's 1.8 miles, 10 turns. You can run it both ways, and they do all kinds of racing, pro stuff, amateur stuff, cars, bikes. It's pretty, it's got rolling hills, it's green. Hopefully the weather will be nice. We're gonna take the car out there and we're gonna do some test drives. We rent the track for the day, we close it. We're gonna let the customer go around the track, we're gonna go around the track, and the customer just has a ball.
Beautiful.
Yes, sir. It's good.
I like being able to put somebody in that car and then be proud of that car and then drive in that car and feel good about that car and feel good about themselves because they're in that car. I need these pimples right now just talking about it.
You ready to go?
Sure, let's go. Wait a minute, I don't know what I'm doing.
That's okay. I'll talk you through it.
Okay.
She's good.
You ready to go?
Yeah.
Okay, don't be scared.
Okay, I'm good. She's not shy. You ham.
When we return, this brand new muscle car gets a workout.
My girl can handle it, so we're good.
Photos and documents shown on brand new muscle car Yenko Camaro, courtesy of Mark Gillespie. For even more about Don Yenko and the supercars that made his dealership famous, look online for the Yenko era and the Yenko era continued, Canonsburg and beyond. brand new muscle car Yenko Camaro, presented by Classic Industries, is brought to you by DJS Fabrications, O'Reilly Auto Parts, Exalta Coating Systems, and by Scoggin Dickey Parts Center.
It's a scientific fact that a clean car is 10 miles an hour faster. And thanks to Myron and Dakota from White Glove, our car is going to be super clean and super fast. Hey guys, thank you so much for cleaning the car.
No problem at all, man.
I mean, I'm so excited to see this car finally drive. Everyone's smiling, everybody's happy, it sounds great. Obviously the customer's happy. It's good, it's like Christmas morning.
It was great sitting here watching, seeing the expression on her face, you know, with Miriam out there driving the car. You can't beat that. I mean, the car stayed together, we didn't tear nothing up, you know, everything went great, the car held up great. It did everything you could have asked it to do for a maiden voyage, and like I said, the customer's awesome. I mean, she's a trooper. She jumped right in that thing, stuck it to the floor, pulled the gears. It's great. And this was a really good day. I mean, we had a ton of fun.
I thought it would be kind of hard to shift and the clutch and stuff, but it's so smooth and, you know, it's not scary at all.
Car felt great on the track. 6.9 Camaro, but it's got all new suspension, all new wheels and tires, brakes, lots of power, very solid. Big wheels and tires, this really sticks with the track. And it felt good. I mean, we didn't go that fast, but it never even tried to break loose. It was exciting.
You can prepare, you can check things over, you know, you can tighten everything twice, you can do all those things. But until you get time on the car, until you get miles on it, until it gets hot and cold, or running around on the track a few times, you don't know. I mean, you can be reasonably sure everything's gonna go well, and today everything went well. We didn't have any problems, everything went as expected, but there's a lot of pressure for myself because when I put these things together, I want to make sure they work. And sometimes they don't always work the first time. Just stuff happens. Brand new fuel pump goes bad. Brand new brake line, it leaks where it's pressed together. You know, some of that stuff is out of my control. It's out of anybody's control. So you do everything you can to make sure that everything that is in your control is going to perform and function and not break and not fall off.
It was wonderful, but I have to practice getting used to how to drive it because I didn't want to hurt my car and I wasn't really driving it right. But then I have to go more because that's the way I have to drive it.
Miriam is a new muscle car owner and she's a bit hesitant to push the car too hard, so she hands the keys over to David. He has more experience and he's been chomping at the bit to put the pedal down.
I just want to be able to hear it. So, well, the customer described it as Knoxbury Farm. So I put her in her seat a few times. Every gear shift.
This Camaro looks like a 50-year-old antique, but thanks to modern tech, it handles just like a brand new sports car.
Chris Olson's Chassis Works is the premier, no kidding, the premier suspension company in the world for American muscle cars. They own the Mustang market. They own the Camaro market. You can't get better stuff, which is why we wanted to work with them, why we wanted to partner with them. We use them on the show. We're using them on all our cars from now on. They make the absolute best stuff.
We're currently in our 28th year under Chassis Works, and it has grown to encompass 6 different brands, and we service a very large market now. We manufacture probably 99% of what you see in our catalog. Throughout the years, we've had various suppliers for some of the parts, but we've brought a lot of that in-house. We have control over the entire system. So we were able to build special shocks, special configurations of shock absorbers to fit our suspensions instead of having to rely on an off-the-shelf product from someone else. And we have a very broad manufacturing capability here. So we make anything from the sheet metal components that you see, any of the tubing stuff for the chassis that we use, the control arms. We manufacture our own shock absorbers in-house, rack and pinions as well. We've brought as much of it in-house that we can so we can control the quality and the development of it so we can make products for a broad range of applications, whether it's a street or a high-end drag race installation. We cover anything from the simple bolt-in parts up to an advanced custom car build that you would find at SEMA. We take a lot of pride in the design of our product. There's a lot of little details. If you look at which edges have a chamfer on them, or we put a small radius in a corner, a lot of those things are done to improve the durability and the overall quality of the part. Some of the employees here are avid racers, and we don't want to ship anything out the door that we're not willing to put on our own car. We want to make sure it's complete, that it's going to be reliable, and it's going to work well at the track, because it's what we want for ourselves.
Up next, the brand new muscle car crew celebrates this car's place in history.
Brand new muscle car Yenko Camaro, presented by Classic Industries, is brought to you by Champion Cooling Systems, Heat Shield Products, Clamp Tight, Z-Max, and by Brand New Muscle Car.
Excuse me for a moment. Could we have your attention, please? This is Miriam Barsnapur. She ordered the Yenko. She's the reason we're all here tonight.
Look in her eyes, I see my whole world. I'd lay down my life for that American girl.
Now that the car's done, we're gonna celebrate. It's been 7 hard months, and everybody's ready to blow off a little steam, and we're gonna party.
When you get to celebrate an accomplishment like this with someone, it makes me feel special too. So this is a treat for us to get to have a party like this, and you know, it doesn't hurt you get to see and drive a car like that as well.
One of my favorite things about this whole business is seeing the cars progress. So cars start out, they change, they evolve, they become great. But the employees have done that too. So Tony, Martin, Jared, I've seen all those guys grow personally, professionally, get better and better at what they do. And it's very rewarding for me, not just to do the cars, but to also see the guys progress and to be able to help them do that. I'm the guy that brings in the work. So I'm trying to bring them better and better projects, better and better customers, and together we've done some really great things.
Best barbecue in Oklahoma.
Whoever is buying this car, I may not know them. I want to treat it like it's their dream car. They're 65, 70 years old, they've saved their whole life, and they're giving me their entire life savings to build them their one-off dream car that they want. My job is to do everything that I can and make every step as seamless and as pure as possible.
When these cars gotta go, we're fully done and it's ready to go with the customer. And it kind of brings you a little bit down just because kind of like, man, I put so much time, effort, sweat to it. But it's also satisfying to see the customer face. To be able to be part of history is just something much more, you know? I'm thankful for what I do.
This one I try to be proud what am I doing. This I'm proud to be done and making beautiful cars.
We care about what we do. We actually really care about the customer. We care about their car. We care about them. We care about how it looks. We care about our reputation. And we really care about that stuff. And I think that's a huge thing, is caring. If you don't care, then you'll just trash something up, you'll make it happy. If you're in it just for the money, you're into this business for all the wrong reasons.
1, 2, 3!
And anybody that's a car guy, you can say one thing about it. Cars just make you feel good. And there's nothing like hearing that roar of a big block motor, or there's nothing like looking at the sleek lines of a Mustang or a Camaro.
That's one of the cool things about this show, is hopefully we'll infect the next generation with the love of muscle cars, classic American cars.
It's nice because it introduces the current car population to something that they were not exposed to.
Maybe it will convince some younger people that seems like there's fewer and fewer of them anymore that really can relate to these cars, you know, and it'll never totally fizzle out, I don't imagine.
My American beauty, I'm sure gonna miss her while I'm away. American beauty, I keep suiting up so I can keep her safe. American beauty,
Okie dokie.